On YouTube, this is 3zinferno, so I'm here to talk to you guys today about Heavy Storm. So Heavy Storm is a really broken card. I mean, if you don't know what it does, I'll read it to you. Destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. So everything. Just your own back rows that you have set and the ones that other people have set. Now, why is Heavy Storm such a good card? Like cards like Dark Hole and things like that, it's usually a plus. So if your opponent sets 2 back rows and you Heavy Storm, you exchange 1 card for their 2 cards. That's why cards like these are so good, because you exchange 1 card for multiple cards. Now, what are some pro plays you can do with Heavy Storm? Now, Heavy Storm is a really interesting card because if you end up setting it, right? So a lot of players what they do is Pro Storm. What Pro Storm is, to me, is set Heavy Storm as a 1 back row, end turn. That's what a lot of people do. And then the psychology of Pro Set Storm is if you set 1 card and your opponent, let's say they don't have MST or they don't want to use it on your blindly on your back row, what they'll do is they'll set 2 back row. Okay, maybe one thinking you set an MST, and so end phase, then nothing happens. You don't blow it up, right? Because it's not an MST. You draw, standby, main phase, flip Heavy Storm. Then you just exchange your 1 card for their 2 cards. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to do this, and they think it's a dangerous play because, hey, what if the MST my Heavy Storm and I lost my Heavy Storm, and then they set 4 back row? Okay, that's true. That is feasible. Like, it's possible. But the majority of decks these days don't set that many back row, don't set more than like 2 back row anyway. A majority. And if they do, they're more likely to have Starlight Road or something set anyway. So Pro Storm is actually a really good play. Honestly, if you're playing a deck like Plants and things like that, I think it's the best card, one of the best cards to set Heavy Storm behind, I think, is Thunder King Ryo. Why I say that is because let's say you summon Thunder King and set Heavy Storm. Your opponent is much more limited in their options now. They have to set a monster. They have to play defensively, so they'll set a monster and set some back row, which is perfect for you to flip Heavy Storm. Or they'll summon Tour Guide into Tsang and then try to exceed to make you waste your Thunder King, and then things like that. And also they can't pot a duality, so their options are much more limited when you have Thunder King on the field. The best play I've done with Heavy Storm so far at a regionals, I still lost, which is amazing to me how I lost. But what happened is game 3 I went first and I made a Logia and set Torrential and Heavy Storm behind it. Now the plant guy, he was like, he tried to bait out my Logia. He was like, foolish Dandelion, and I was like, okay. And then he got 2 tokens, and then he went normal summon global, make a formula. Okay, that's fine. He drew a card, so now he has 7 cards, and he's like, oh wait, no, he has 5 cards in hand, I mean. And then he goes Heavy Storm, and I'm like, negate with Logia. He's like, set 4 back row, end turn. And I drew, and I was just like, flip Heavy Storm. And then he was like, oh my gosh, like, he set everything. He set a warning, 2 bottomless, and a deep prison, and I knocked it all out. And that was one of the best plays I've ever done, because we were talking about it after, and he was amazed. He's like, man, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Like, in hindsight, I know it was stupid, but like, man, that Heavy Storm was hella good. Like, it was such a good play. And I was just like, well, yeah, because I'm protecting it. Like, you know, I'm protecting it, and it's really, you know, it was just a really good play on my part, protecting the Heavy Storm and then having him set 4 back row like that. This is a really tricky play. Now, it takes a lot of guts, and you have to know what kind of deck your opponent is playing. But my other pro play with Heavy Storm is when you set it and you set Solemn Judgment. So your opponent activates their Heavy Storm, and you activate Solemn Judgment, and then they're like, he just paid 4,000 life points to protect that back row. What is it? And let's say you already have a monster on the field. Like, a Thunder King is a good example always. So a Thunder King is pretty safe. So let's just say you have a Thunder King out, and they're like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do. So they go summon, or they set, and then set 3 back row and try and protect from your Thunder King. And then you go draw, flip, Storm, and they're like, holy crap. Like, I just fell for that. Like, he paid 4,000 life points to lull me into this sense that this card was like a Solemn Warning or a Mirror Force or Torrential or something like that. But it was a Heavy Storm, which is not something your opponent would think of right away. So I really think that Heavy Storm is a really versatile card. If you're daring enough to set it, which I am, then you should try it out. Try it out in different scenarios. I mean, sometimes it's not good. If you have Gores, you might not want to set Heavy Storm because what if your opponent is playing a deck that doesn't run spells and traps? Like you're playing Frog Monarchs or something, and you're like, or even Agents, and they're not setting it in back row. You're like, crap, I can't summon my Gores because I can't flip this Heavy Storm unless I minus myself with this Heavy Storm. So it always depends on the situation. It depends on the type of player you're playing against. Sometimes it's just, you know, if you're playing against conservative people, this Pro Set Storm works the best, in my opinion, because they like to set a lot of defense and they like to protect themselves. So that's why I like setting Pro Storm, and I recommend you guys try it. It really works. And when it works on people, they get scared the next time. Okay, this is perfect. A perfect example. I did this on Pro Storm set, turn 1, and then he sets 2 back row, and I draw, and I blow his back row, and then proceed to go for game, and I have game. And then he was like in shock. He's like, "Oh my goodness." Because I had to set Tsang, set Heavy Storm, and then he attacked into Tsang. I searched Rabbit, and the next time I flipped Storm, and he's like, "Oh my gosh." That was bad. Then game 2, I lost, but he couldn't figure out how many cards to set. He would be like, "Oh my gosh, like I don't know what to do. Like, am I supposed to set like 2 or just 1?" And then like game 3, I went first and I set MST, 2 MSTs, excuse me, with my Logia. That's it. And then he was like, he was debating like, should I set 1? Should I set 2? I don't even know. So he sets 1, and I space it. He's like, crap. I'm like, okay. And then he goes draw again, and he sets another one, and then I go space it. He's like, oh my gosh, like he like it really messes with your mind, and psychology is a really big important in this game. And I think in my next episode I'm going to be talking about the psychology of this game and how you can bait people into doing things, like just bait people into doing what you want them to do technically. So yeah, that's all I have for this video. Thanks guys. 3zinferno signing out.